Ayan, nag-debit na ng cash na 1,200,000. Tapos anong gagawin ko pa? May kulang pa, may 2 blanks pa dyan. Ano ipapasok ko dyan? Ano i-debit ko pa?
Debit pa po, ma'am, yung equipment.
Ng equipment? What equipment will you?
Car po, ma'am.
Okay. So ano yan? Anong tawag mo pag car?
Equipment? Um, uh,
What equipment? What equipment? Is it an office equipment?
transportation.
What?
Transportation equipment.
Okay, very good.
Tapos sa debit niya po is ilalagay no?
Ayun muna ang amount. Mag-amount ka muna na.
Ay,
So, ano tawag mo? Transportation equipment?
yes po.
Magkano?
Ano to? 550. Ay. Dito hindi ko makita maayos.
Di mo na naman, kaya mo
550,000 po, ma'am.
Very good. Tapos, magke-credit ka ng,
Yung capital na po ni Malu.
saan na mangyayari?
Ilagay po dun sa Malu, capital po.
Very good. Magkano amount?
1 million. Pag-add po tong dalawa na sa debit.
Yes, very good.
So, bali, 1 million.
Ano?
1,750,000 po.
Very good. O, lipat tayo sa number. So, ano yung magiging explanation mo dyan? Bakit yun ang nilagay mo? Kasi,
yun po yung initial investment.
Very good. Number 4. Sabi dito, nag-borrow ka ng 250,000 from Mito Bank. Ano nangyari? Nag-debit ng cash, 250,000. Nag-credit ng loan payable, 250,000 kasi nag-borrowed ka ng money from the bank. So, anong kasunod? Yung number 5, bumili ng furniture from Slims, 30,000 pesos on account. Ano na answer dyan? Who will answer for it? Asis? Who will? Janelle or Carlo? Who wish to? Ano na magiging answer dyan? Ano i-debit?
Debit po, ma'am, yung furniture.
Yes, very good.
Then,
How much?
30,000 po.
Yeah. Credit?
Then, since on account po, sabi niya accounts payable.
Yes.
Then,
Next, how much is the amount?
30,000 din po.
Okay. Number 6. Ano sabi dyan? Nag-withdraw daw ng 100,000 for personal use. Ano magiging entry?
Drawings.
Drawing. Withdrawn.
Yes po.
Anong account maapektuhan?
Debit po.
Drawing. Ng ano? So, nag-withdraw ng pera, ano nangyari doon? Pag nag-withdraw ng pera,
Bawasan
sabihin,
po
naglabas
sa...
ng pera sa negosyo. Yes, nabawasan yung pera ng negosyo dahil linabas ng may-ari. So, kanina mag-charge?
Kay Malu po.
Kanino? Yes. So, magiging Malu?
Drawings. Malu,
Very
drawings.
good. Yes. How much?
100,000 po.
Okay. So, credit what?
Cash po.
Anong? Very good. What amount?
100,000.
So, ano yun? Explanation on is to withdraw because of the withdrawn cash for personal use.
Yes.
Ano nangyari? 15.
Accounts.
Nag-render ng services to Happy Tours. 500,000 on account.
On account, di pa binayaran. Bali sa debit po is accounts receivable.
Very good. How much?
500,000 po. Yun yung
Very good.
service.
Credit.
Then, since hindi pa nabayaran, sa credit po is service revenue.
Very good. How much?
500,000 po.
Okay. Next. Nagbayad ng sweldo ang mga empleyado ng 50,000 pesos.
Ano? May sinabi po bang
Sweldo.
Sweldo.
Salaries ng mga empleyado.
in-
Pag nagbabayad ka, so naglabas ka ng pera, para pa i-justify mo kung saan napunta yung pera, kailangan i-chart mo yon sa sweldo ng empleyado. Pagka gasto sa sweldo ng empleyado, ano account ang ginagamit?
salary po?
Very good. Salary.
50,000.
Salary ano muna? May word dyan. Kasi tatlo yung pwede mo maging salary dyan eh. Salary income, salary expense,
Salary expense po.
payable. Oh, what? Okay, very good. So ano, salary
Expense.
expense, how much?
50,000 po.
Okay,
Then credit
Ano
po
yun? Credit
is in cash. Hindi po minention kung
yes, cash.
ito may
Cash.
cash.
Siyempre, anak, pag nagbayad ka ng sweldo, alangan naman bigyan mo yan ng ano. Ano ibibigay mo dun? Sweldo niya yon, di ba? Di pera. Okay, so ano, credit cash for 50,000 pesos. Ano magiging explanation mo? Because you
Pinayaran.
rendered services. Oo, hindi mo binayaran. Inutang mo lang, kaya may pautang ka.
Yung sa salary po, ma'am.
So,
Ay,
ha?
okay na
Ay,
po.
oo.
ma'am. Salary.
Salaries, because you paid sa employees salaries. O pag-aralan natin yung last, the 30th. Collected account from Happy Tours. Collected. So balikan mo, nasaan yung connection kay Happy Tours kasi walang amount yan.
Yes po. Bali, binayaran na nila. So, sa debit po na charge cash.
Yes. How much?
Yung 500,000 po.
Yes, very good.
Then,
How much? Kasi pagka hindi naka-identify kung 1/2 lang yung binayaran or 1/4 lang, isipin nyo na, consider nyo na binayaran na yun ng buo. Kaya ano mangyayari na? Credit,
accounts receivable.
very good. Mawawala na yung pautang kasi nakuha mo na yung pera. Very good, very good. At paano mo siya i-justify? Because you collected the account. Yes, very good. Next. Punta tayo sa exercise 2. Kay Giselle. Sino nasagot nito?
Si Petilla daw po, ma'am.
Sige. Petilia.
Hi, ma'am.
Hello.
Okay.
Sabi dito sa exercise 2, si Giselle daw nag-decided to put up a consultancy firm. Bill the transactions for the month of August. You are requested to journalize the transaction. Si Giselle nag-invest ng cash of 1,500,000. So ano mangyayari?
Ano, ma'am? Sa debit, ma'am, i-record mo sa as cash.
Very good. How much?
Amounting to 1,500,000 pesos.
Very good. Credit.
Giselle, capital.
Very good. Magkano?
Same din po dun sa cash na ano.
Sabihin mo para makita ko sino.
1,500,000 pesos.
Very good. Punta tayo sa number 5. Nag-render ng services to La Suerte Company, 75,000 on account.
Ano, ma'am? Sa debit, ma'am, accounts receivable.
Yes.
Tapos sa credit, ma'am, service revenue amounting to 75,000 pesos.
Both of them.
Opo.
Okay. Number 6. Tapos
Both
i-explain mo siya. Paano siya explain? Why did you put that entry for number 5? Kasi? An
Kasi ma'am,
explanation.
nag-render siya ng service eh. Sa account niya mismo.
Kaya ilalagay mo yung rendered services on account.
On account.
Yes. O, ano susunod? Withdrawn, not yet. Bought equipment from Bill's 120,000 issuing a note for the account.
Ano ma'am, sa debit ma'am, equipment equal to
Very good.
120,000 pesos.
Yes.
Tapos sa credit ma'am, notes payable. Kasi nag-isa siya ng note eh.
Very good. Magkano halaga?
120,000 pesos po.
Very good. Number 7. Nag-withdraw ng cash o nag-withdraw ng 90,000 pesos for personal use.
Giselle/drawing po sa debit.
Yes. Ano, Giselle?
Ay, slash.
Tama.
Tama pala ma'am. Tama,
Yes, very
drawing.
Yes, how much?
90,000 pesos.
Okay. Credit?
Credit ma'am is cash kasi yun yung nawala sa kanya ma'am.
Very good. How much?
90,000 pesos.
Very good. Why did it happen that way? Kasi ano nangyari doon? Why did
Kasi
you
ma'am,
put that?
she withdrew cash for personal use.
Very good. Number 10. Nag-paid ka ng rent for the month, 26,000. What will be your entry?
Sa debit enter ma'am, rent expense,
Very good. How much?
26,000.
Yes. Credit?
Credit is cash,
Very
26,000.
good. 26,000 pesos. So, last, 15th. Made additional investment of 320,000 pesos in the business. What will happen?
Sa debit ma'am, cash ang i-record, 320,000 pesos.
Yes. Credit?
Tapos ma'am sa credit, Giselle, capital, 320,000 pesos.
Why?
Kasi ma'am, nagdagdag lang siya ng pera para dun sa business niya.
Yes, kailalagay mo lang na additional investment kasi yun. Very
Ma'am,
good,
pwedeng
very good.
to record investment?
Ano?
To record investment?
Kasi kailangan malagay mo dun yung additional. Kasi 'di ba meron na siyang meron siyang original yung number 1. Kaya dapat diyan additional kasi kung tutusin mo additional siya. To separate the distinction of the first transaction to the second transaction. To that transaction. Nakuha mo, anak?
Opo.
Palipat tayo. Sino ang kasunod? Exercise 3. Asis, ikaw ba to? A-answer nito? Ano, Asis? Gising ka ba, Asis? Asis? Gising ka ba, anak? Magparamdam ka kahit sa paanong paraan.
Ma'am, pati.
Ay, sus Mariosep. Gulat naman ako. Ano? Ano na? Sino yung nagmam?
Ma'am, ano po ma'am? Cash and
Teka.
cash po ma'am sa debit.
Ano nangyayari sa'yo? Para ka na namang natataranta sa buhay mo. Ano, anak? Okay, so okay ka na ba, Asis? Okay na ba? Okay. So, sabi dito sa exercise 3, si Chubbs daw nag-decided to put up a dental clinic. So, nagtayo siya ng dental clinic. Before are the transactions for the month of October. You are requested to journalize the transaction. Una, si Chubbs nag-invest ng 550,000. 500,000. So, paano siya i-journal?
Cash 500,000 po ma'am sa debit.
Very good.
Sa credit po ma'am, ganoon din po. 500,000 din po sa capital.
Kaya lang, ano yung entry mo? Ano yung pinaka-account title? Basta capital lang? O you need to put what? You need, anak, to put the name of the investor. Hindi pwedeng basta capital lang kasi para ma-recognize ng ng mga
Okay po,
taong
ma'am.
nakakakita, sino ba yung kinukonsider mong owner? Nakukuha mo ba? Or repeat your answer now.
Okay po, ma'am. Yung sa debit po, ma'am, 500,000 po yung cash. Sabay sa credit naman po, ma'am. Si Chubbs po, ma'am, invest po siya na
Kaya ano mangyayari? Jobs?
Chubbs Capital, 500,000.
Very good.
Chubbs Capital po, ma'am, 500,000.
Okay, very good. Next, number 5. Nag-render ng services to Colgate Company employees, 75,000 cash.
Lang po.
Ano na? Nag-render ng services to Colgate Company employees, 75,000 cash. Debit,
75,000 sa debit po.
na ano? 75,000 na ano? Nakalabaw, na ano ba? Anong account title na gagamitin mo? What is that 75,000 pesos for? Na dinebit mo? What
Sa
account?
account receivable po.
Ha? Nag-render siya ng services to Colgate Company employees, 75,000 pesos cash. Bakit magiging accounts receivable, anak?
Oh, wait lang, mali po.
Ano i-debit?
Ma'am, yung employees po, di ba, ma'am, di naman po siya customer.
Ano?
Yung employees po, ma'am,
Hindi,
di naman
teka.
po siya customer.
Pag tinagalog mo siya, di ba, ganito nangyari. Nag-render yung kumpanya nyo, yung si Chubbs, yung kumpanya nyo na dental clinic, nag-service sa Colgate. Binayaran ka ngayon ng Colgate ng 1,000 pesos na cash. So, bakit ka babayaran ng 75,000 pesos na cash? Kasi, ba't ka tatanggap ng pera, anak? So, palagay mo, sabi natin, sa mundong to, pera-pera, bawat bibigay mo, may makukuha ka. So, kung nakakuha ka ng pera, ano binigay mo?
Cash po, ma'am, 75,000 sa debit po.
Hindi. Ikaw ang tumanggap ng 75,000 kaya nagkaroon ng credit, kaya nagkaroon ng debit. May pumasok na 75,000 pesos doon sa dental shop mo. Nakukuha mo ba? Pagka nagre-record ka, anak, ilalagay mo yung sarili mo doon sa negosyo. Sa negosyo. Kung nag-render ng services yung negosyo niyan sa Colgate Company, at nakatanggap ka mula sa Colgate Company ng 75,000. Ano i-debit mo?
Service income po, ma'am, sa 75,000 sa debit.
Debit? Pag dinebit mo ang service, binabawasan mo siya. So pag nag-render ka ng service, nababawasan pa ba yung service? Kumbaga, nababawasan ba yung serbisyo mo? O ibig sabihin, nawawalan ka ba ng kita?
Ma'am, sa credit po pala, ma'am. Sabay po sa cash po, ma'am. Maladagan din po siya sa credit.
Ano, nahilo na naman ako sa'yo, anak. Pagtimbang-timbangin mo muna ng mabuti. Ano i-debit ko, ano i-credit ko? Babalikan kita next week sa assignment natin, Asis.
Sige, ma'am.
Pero ngayon, gawin mo to. Ano nangyari?
Ma'am, ano po, ma'am? Cash 75,000 po, ma'am, sa income.
Yes. Ano, ulitin mo nga. Debit, ano i-debit ko? Ano i-debit ko muna? Pag dinebit mo, iisipin mo, di ba, dadagdag ba o kokonti yung account na yon? Ano yung madadagdagan na account kung kumita ka ng 75,000 pesos? Ano madadagdagan? Anong dadami?
Yung cash po, ma'am.
Very good. Madadagdagan ng cash mo ng 75,000. So ano yan? I-debit ko ba yan? I-credit ko. Yung cash na yan. Sabi mo, nadagdagan na. I-debit ko.
Papasok po ma'am yung pera, ma'am, sa ano, ma'am, sa asset po.
Ano? Ano anak? Kumalma ka nga muna. Kumalma ka. Tapos mag-isip kang mabuti. Again. Pagka, halimbawa, nag-render ng service, anong mangyayari? Papasok ang papasok ang ano papasok sa business? Ano papasok sa business, anak?
Yung total amount po, ma'am, ng income.
Use the account title properly para magkaintindihan tayo. So, kung nag-render ka ng service at sabi pera na tanggap mo, ano i-debit mo? What is the account title that you will debit? Ano yung account title na i-debit mo? Para
Cash po, ma'am.
Oh, very good. Magkano?
75,000 po.
Very good. Next, ano i-credit mo? Nag-render ka ng service, ha?
75,000 po, ma'am, yung credit.
Oo.
Sa
Ano
revenue
naman
po,
yung account title? Ano yung account title mo?
medical fees po.
Ha? Medical?
Medical fees po, ma'am.
Medical fees? Siguro pwedeng gamitin mo na lang yung service income kasi para malaman na para yun doon sa service mo na nirender. Kasi kung gagamit ka ng profession, yung kasing sinasabi mo dental fees, yun yung tinatanggap ng isang dentista kung nagtatrabaho siya bilang dentista. Ito, ikaw ang may-ari ng dental clinic. Maaring hindi ka dentista pero nagtayo ka ng clinic tapos mag-hire ka na lang ng mga maraming ganun maraming mga businesses na hindi naman yun ang profession nila pero nagtatayo sila. Kaya yung nakita nyo dyang dental fee, para yan sa mga dentista, may diploma, may lisensya bilang dentista na ano nangyayari? Na kumita, tumanggap ng pera para sa pagiging dentista. Dito, wala naman sinabi na si Chubbs ay dentist. Kaya na charge natin. Saan natin charge, anak? Pag gano'n ang sitwasyon. Ano account title mo? Did you do your assignment while we are on academic break? Anak? Inaral mo ba to? Sis?
Hindi po, ma'am.
Naku, yan ang masakit. Kaya pala natutulalay ka eh. Pero ginagabayan naman kita, di ba? O ano nangyari?
Ako, ma'am.
Ano ang dapat? Ano ang dapat na sagot doon? Di ba? Nag-render ka ng service. So, kung nag-render ng service yung business, tama na yung dinebit mo, cash, na 75,000. Pero ano yung kikredit mo? Ano yun?
Ano po? Ano po, ma'am?
Ano yung kikredit mo? Ano account title?
Service revenue.
Yes, service revenue o kaya service income. Pwede mong gamitin, ha? O, magkano amount? Magkano amount?
75,000 po, ma'am.
Okay, very good. Number 6. Bought dental equipment, 120,000 cash. Bumili ka ng dental equipment. So, ano magiging debit mo? Ano madadagdagan sa negosyo?
Yung debit po, ma'am, sa dental equipment po, 120,000.
Very good. Credit?
Sa credit po, ma'am, ganoon din po, ma'am, cash. 100,000, 120,000.
So, kay credit mo cash with the amount of 120,000 pesos. So, ang magiging explanation mo is why did you put those entries? Ano ang magiging explanation mo? Basahin mo na lang yan nasa handouts. Because number 6, you purchase.
Because Chubb bought dental equipment 100,000 pesos. Cash.
No, ito na. Basahin mo na itong nasa handouts mo. Because you purchase slash.
Because you purchase bought dental equipment for cash.
Very good. Number 7, ano ang sagot mo? Chops withdraw 30,000 for personal use.
Pero ma'am, Chubbs withdrew 30,000 po ma'am sa debit.
O ano magiging account title? Account title.
Chubbs drawing po ma'am.
Very good. How much?
30,000 po.
What's your credit now? Very good. Ano yung credit ko na?
Cash po ma'am.
Very good. What's the amount?
30,000 po.
Yes. Punta ka sa number 18. Received a bill from Meralco, 2,900. Pag sinabi mo you received a bill, ano ibig sabihin nun? Natanggap mo yung?
Yung bill po.
Oo, obvious naman, ano? O, pagka ganon, ano account title yon? Meralco yan, ha? Meralco.
Ano po ma'am? Account payable po ma'am, 2,900.
Ano muna i-debit mo? Bill pa lang. Pag dinebit mo yung sinasabi mo accounts payable, utang lang yon. Pero paano kung mapapakita sa'yo na kasi utang natin yun sa Meralco? Anong account dapat ang gagamitin ko? Meralco. Ano ba binabayaran mo sa Meralco?
Credit account po ma'am.
Ha? Ano ang binabayaran mo sa Meralco ng mga tao?
Utilities expense po ma'am.
Yes, very good. Utilities expense, how much? How much is the cost?
2,900 po ma'am sa debit.
Very good. Ano ang credit? Wala ka pa nilalabas sa pera, bill pa lang yung natanggap mo.
Accounts payable po ma'am.
Hindi.
Credit.
Hindi pwedeng accounts payable kasi accounts payable para sa mga customer mo. Ito, hindi to customer lang. Ano to, yung obligasyon mo siya sa utilities mo siya. Kaya ano dapat? Utilities. Anong
Utilities expense debit po.
Ha? Utilities.
Expense debit.
Nahilo na ako sa'yo. Ulitin mo. Number 18. Ano ide-debit mo? Utilities. Gastos para sa utilities.
Utilities payable po ma'am.
Utilities payable is a liability account. It means that you have parang meron kang debt. Meron kang obligation to pay. Pag payable yung ginamit mo. Pero ang binabanggit ko, ano naman yung ide-debit mo? Ide-debit mo. Utilities. Kasi ganito Di ba, sabi dyan, nakatanggap ka ng bill sa Meralco. Bakit ka nagkaroon ng bill sa Meralco? Kasi may na-consume ka na kuryente. Ngayon, kung ganyan pa lang ang sitwasyon, paano kung sasabihin na utang ko yon sa Meralco. Sabi mo sa akin kanina, ma'am, utilities expense. What will I do with that utilities expense? Should I debit it or should I credit it?
Accrued payable po, ma'am.
Teka muna, yung tanong ko muna ang sagutin mo. Yung utilities expense, ide-debit ko ba o i-credit ko?
I-debit po, ma'am.
Very good. Magkano halaga?
1,900 po, ma'am.
Okay, very good. Next, ano ngayon ang i-credit ko? Ano yung i-credit ko? Bakit ako magkakaroon ng bayarin? Ano ba, naglabas na ba ako ng pera? O inutang ko lang? Wala pa ako nilalabas na pera. Pag naman sakali mo, wala ka pang nilalabas sa pera, wala pa pala akong nilalabas sa pera. So, paano ko ipapakita doon sa reader ng aking accounting journal na hindi pa siya bayad? Anong term ang gagamitin ko? Anong term ang susulat ko dyan para makita nung babasa niyang journal na yan na hindi pa bayad yung aking bill sa Meralco? Ano ilalagay ko? Utilities
Utilities payable po, ma'am.
Very good. Utilities payable para mapakita mo hindi ko pa siya nabayaran. How much?
2,900 po.
Very good. Ano mag-explanation mo? Bakit mo nilagay yun doon sa account na yun? Para? Ayan na, nasa handouts mo na. Nasa harap mo na.
To record electricity consumption for the month.
Very good. Now, last number 25. Nagbayad ka na sa Meralco. What will happen now? Ano na i-debit mo?
Ma'am, pa-scroll up po, ma'am.
Ha? Ano?
Pa-scroll up po, ma'am. Medyo di ko po kasi
Sorry. Nagbayad ka na.
Ma'am, hindi ko po makita yung problem kanina po, ma'am.
Sorry. Ayan. Paid Meralco. Nakikita mo ba?
Apo, ma'am.
Ano na mangyari? Utilities, ano i-debit ko?
Utilities, ano, ma'am?
Babayad ka na ng utang sa Meralco. Di ba kanina? Di ba nung 18?
Expense credit.
Again.
Utilities expense debit po, ma'am.
Hindi, kanina nga, ni-record mo na yun as an expense pero sabi mo, wala ka pang pera. Kaya bakit i-charge mo siya uli sa expense? Saan mo na siya? Ano na babawasan mo? Yung utilities, obligation. Kaya ang kailangan mong gawing account title ay utilities,
Payable po, ma'am.
Very good. At ano i-credit mo? Ano i-credit mo? Ano yung nilabas mo? Kabayaran nun? Ano nilabas mo? Anong nilalabas mo pag nagbabayad ka?
Cash po, ma'am.
Very good. Magkano halaga ng dalawang yon? Utilities payable na yan. Tsaka cash ay magkano?
2,900.
Very good. Next meeting, anak, ikaw magsimula, Asis, ha?
Okay, ma'am.
Yung susunod nating activities. Okay, so sana tayo. Lipat tayo sa module 5. Lesson 5. So what is lesson 5? Adjusting na to ng journal entries. So ma'am, ano na ngayon yung adjusting entries na yan? So yung adjusting entries na, ito yung mga entries na nilalagay para ma-update yung accounts. Para sa paniniguro. Kasi kung minsan, pagkatapos ng end of the month, minsan meron palang mga nakakalimutang i-record. Minsan naman hindi mga updated yung transactions na later lang makikita ng bookkeeper. So ano gagawin, ma'am? Yun yung adjusting the books. So sabi nga dito, adjusting journal entries are entries used to update the accounts prior to the preparation of financial statement because, so bago mo raw gawin yung financial statements, kailangan update mo muna yung accounts because they affect more than one accounting period. Kasi minsan, example, nagbigay ng deposito para sa 3 buwan. Di ba pagka nagbigay ng deposito ng 3 buwan, tapos 1 buwan pa lang ang nagdadaan, parang mali na isasama mo na yung 2 buwan na hindi pa dumarating. Kaya ang ire-record, kailangan iawas mo yung nagamit na sa hindi pa nagagamit na advance payment na yon. Kaya pumapasok itong adjusting entries na to para ihiwala yung gamit na sa hindi pa gamit. So sabi nga dito, transactions are apportioned properly between the accounting periods which are affected. So the accounts affected are adjusted so they would be no overstatement para wala namang overstatement o yung sobra yung labis na pagkakatala o understatement yung hindi mo naman naitala yung dapat itala. Kaya ano mangyari? Yun yung understatement. Off balance sheet items and income statement items. So ano sabi niyan? The process of determining an entity's net income or net loss requires certain income and expenses accounts to be apportioned over several accounting periods. According to the accrual principles, di ba naalala niyo may tinatawag tayo, may sinasabi tayong principles of accounting, yung entity concept, naalala niyo, di ba meron doon accrual principles. So, ano nga sabi doon? Income is recognized at the time it is actually earned and expenses is recognized at the time it is already incurred or used. So thus, receipt of cash does not necessarily mean a recognition of income. So hanggat di mo pa raw hindi naman daw ibig sabihin na pag nakatanggap ka na ng pera, income mo na kagad yun. E paano kung hindi mo pa nagagawa yung serbisyo? Hindi mo pa dapat income yon. Kasi wala ka pa nagagawa kapalit ng perang natanggap mo. Kaya dapat yun, huwag mo munang charge nakita mo. Hanggat hindi mo nagagampanan yung serbisyo kapalit ng perang natanggap mo. So, yun yung mga sinasabi natin. An example of this is the cash received from a customer from the reservation of a hotel room for 2 weeks. The receipt of cash from the customer does not necessarily mean that income should be recognized. The receipt of cash should not be recognized more as a liability. So, dapat daw, yung cash na natanggap mong yun, utang mo na, liability mo na siya. Di ba? Kaya nga charge natin siya sa unearned revenue. Tapos ano mangyayari? It should be recognized daw na as a revenue rather than to consider it as an income. It is more appropriate to treat it as a liability in the form of services to be rendered. It is only after the customer has checked in the hotel for his 2-week stay can his advance payment be considered as income because the service has already been rendered. So, pwede mo lang daw i-charge yon as your income pag nagampanan mo na yung 2 weeks na pagka nag-stay na yung kliyente mo dun sa hotel mo for 2 weeks. So, yun yung example niya. Another example daw is a 1-year insurance premium paid for the insurance of a house. The amount paid representing 1-year premium cannot be changed outright as an expense. This is because the premium paid covers a 1-year insurance. So if there is a 1-year insurance advance payment, kung ilang months pa lang ang dumadaan, yun pa lang ang may charge mo as an expense. Yung iba, hindi pa rin. Prepaid insurance pa rin yun. Hence, the full amount can only be charged as expense after a year. So, pagka natapos na raw yung 1 full year. Okay? Naintindihan ba yon? So, tingnan natin ngayon to. So, sabi niya nga dito, following are the accounts subjected to adjustments. Example, yung prepayments are expenses already paid but not yet incurred or used. So, pagka nagre-record tayo ng mga prepayments, may 2 procedure na pwede mo magawa. Isa asset method, isa naman expense method. Ma'am, ano yung expense method at asset method? Journal entries upon payment. Pag nagbayad kasi ng isang prepayments, charge mo siya. Kaya magiging journal entry non upon payment is you debit prepaid expense with the amount you spent for it, tapos kine-credit mo sa cash yung amount na binayad mo doon sa prepaid expense na yon. Tapos sinasabi mo doon sa adjustment mo na adjusting journal entry at the end of the accounting period. Diba? Ito yung original entry mo ha. Tapos pa nag-adjust ka na after, halimbawa, 1 month, iaalisin mo na yung mga consumed portion, ide-debit mo na ngayon yung prepaid mo na in expense, example, para yon sa sa telephone expense, tapos i-credit mo yon sa telephone, sa prepaid telephone expense. Yun ay i-credit mo para mawala doon sa asset na yon yung part na na-consume na. So sabi nga dito sa note, the amount on the adjusting journal entry represents the expired or used portion of the payment. Naintindihan ba yon? Nakukuha nyo ba yon? Let me see nga your hands. Naintindihan ba yon? So sa adjusting, aalisin natin yung part na consume na, nawala na, nagamit na. Matitira na lang yung value na pwede pa nating magamit. O, naintindihan ba yan? O, ba't di Agwas, ano nangyari, anak? Agwas, where are you? Nakatulog na. Biles, ano yun? Abiles? Ranis, where are you? Montejo, Petilia, Asies, Rosales, Ranis, where are you? Ranis.
Ma'am.
Saan ka na nakarating? Rosales. Rosales, where are you? Ranis, next meeting ha. Kayo naman ang mga sumagot. Montejo, si Montejo yata nakapag-recite na te. Rosales. So mag-umpisa kay Asis, kay Ranis. Santos, nasan ka na, Clark? Santos, Clark. Saan ka na nakarating? Rosales. Naririnig niyo pa ba ako?
Yes po, ma'am.
Ano ba nangyari dito? Ba't nagkaganito? Okay, you put your hands down now. Balik tayo sa module. Meron bang parang screen? Meron kayo baka nakikitang parang green cover in my screen?
Wala po.
Ay, ano kayo napindot ko rito? Ay, buhay. Can you see my module? Yes.
Po, ma'am.
Okay. So, So, sabi natin doon, ganun ang gagawin ha. So, sa exercise 1, sa example 1, sabi halimbawa daw on October 1, 2012, si X company nagbayad ng 1-year advance rent for 24,000. Give the adjusting journal entry on December 31, 2012. So, ano magiging journal entry mo pagka nangyari yung pagkakabayad mo ng insurance? I-debit mo yung prepaid rent ng 24,000, i-credit mo yung cash. So, ano mangyari? Pag in-adjust mo yan, i-charge mo na adjusting entries at the end of the accounting period, December 31, 2012, will appear as i-debit mo yung rent expense na 6,000, i-credit mo yung rent, yung prepaid rent na 6,000 para i-record yung expired rent for the month. So, paano, ma'am, ang magiging computation nun? The 24,000 rent represents 1 year or 12 months. So, therefore, you need to divide 24,000 by 12 to get the monthly income or the monthly rent. Tapos, i-multiply mo yan sa 3 months na kinonsume natin from October 1 to December 31, 2012. So, ang mangyayari, 24,000 divided by 12 times 3 is 6,000 pesos. So, 6,000 is therefore the expired or used rent from October 1 to December 31 of 2012. Ano magiging analysis niyan? When you paid 24,000 for 1 year rent in advance on October 1, you debited the asset account prepaid rent representing 12 months rent. On December 31, at the end of the accounting period, the 24,000 prepaid rent is not totally assets anymore since it includes the 3 months expired or used portion. So, hence, an adjusting entry is necessary. Kailangan mo na mag-adjust ng books para i-update yung naka-record na yon sa iyong journals. Nagkaintindihan ba? So, sabi niya nga dito, asa na ba tayo? The 24,000 prepaid rent is not totally assets anymore since it includes the asset. So, since it includes the 3 months expired use portion. Hence, an adjusting entry is necessary to recognize the rent expense for 3 months by debiting it and decreasing the balance of prepaid rent by crediting it. So, para sa example 2, sabi naman, on March 31, 2012, B company paid 72,000 insurance premium for 2 years. Give the adjusting entries on May 31, 2012. Ito, asset method pa rin to. Excuse me. So, ano nangyari? Journal entry upon payment on March 31, 2012 will be prepaid insurance, 72,000. I-credit mo yung cash ng 72,000. Sabi dyan, because you paid 2 years insurance premium in advance. Pero dahil na-consume na yung ilang portions niyang 2 years coverage na yan, kaya dapat gumawa ka ng adjusting entries at at the end of May, which is May 31, 2012. So, ano mangyari? Didebit mo yung insurance expense, 72,000. I-credit mo yung prepaid insurance sa 72,000. At ang magiging explanation mo is to record the expired insurance for the year. Ano magiging computation? The 72,000 premium represents 2 years or 24 months premium. Divide 72,000 by 24 to get the monthly premium. The monthly premium. Then, multiply it by 2 to get the used portions for the months of May 31 to or April 31. Ma'am, bakit April 31 mo lang kukunin? Kasi tingnan mo to, binayaran dulo na ng March. Kaya ang bilang na lang yan, April 31 tsaka May 31, 2012. 72,000 divided by 24 times 2. To 6,000 pesos premiums. Therefore, to be charged to expenses is 6,000, which represents the 2 months from March 31 to May 31, 2012. Ano analysis dyan? When you paid 72,000 for the year for the 2-year insurance on March 31, 2012, you debited the asset paid insurance representing 24 months insurance. Pero tapos, nung May 21, 2012, which is the end of the account, the 72,000 prepaid insurance is not totally an asset since it includes the 2 months for use portion, which is from March 31 to May 31. Kaya, hence, an adjusting entries is necessary para ma-recognize mo yung insurance expenses for 2 months by debiting it and decreasing the balance of the prepaid insurance by crediting it para mabawasan yung yung records mo sa prepaid insurance. O ano naman example ng number 3? Halimbawa naman supplies. Yung supplies mo, may na-consume ka ng part ng supplies. Ano? Example, supplies account on March 1, 2012 shows the balance of 7,000. On December 31, 2012, supplies on hand amounted to 2,000. So mali na kasi 7,000 yung ang naka-record pa, pero 2,000 na lang yung nakititira doon sa cabinet mo o sa stock mo. So dapat i-adjust mo na yung books mo para mag-reflect na yung actual number of supplies na nandoon sa iyong possession. Kaya gagawin mo, kailangan mong gumawa ng adjusting journal entry on December 31, 2012 by debiting supplies expense 5,000 at crediting supplies for 5,000 pesos. At ano magiging explanation mo to record the supplies used for the year? Ano ang computation niyan? Yung supplies at the beginning of the year, 7,000. At the end of the year, the remaining balance is 2,000. So the difference represents the supplies used during the year. So ano gagawin ko na? Subtract 2,000 from 7,000 to get the supplies used during the year. Kaya lalabas na yung 7,000 minus 2,000 equals 5,000 pesos. So ano magiging analysis niyan? Analysis on January 1, 2012, the asset account supplies has a balance of 7,000 pesos. Since at the end of the year, the balance of the asset account supplies decreased to 2,000 pesos, the difference representing the supplies used during the year. You will have to recognize the used supplies as it is already an expense. Kaya kailangan i-debit mo na yung supplies expense in to decrease the asset account supplies by crediting it. Pag ginawa mo yon, mabababa na yung presyo ng makakagawa ka na ng, di ba sabi natin pagkatapos ng adjusting entries, ipopost uli sa journal, ililipat uli sa ledger, kaya mababawasan na yung value sa supplies mo doon sa ledger. Magre-reflect na siya. O ano example ngayon na exercise? Ano yung example 4? Example naman daw, yung supplies account mo shows a balance of 12,000 pesos. Tapos, halimbawa yung supplies expense mo nagpakita ng use for the year amounted to 4,000 pesos. Give the adjusting entries, journal entry on December 31, 2012. So yung adjusting journal entry on December 31, 2012, magiging debit supplies expense para mapakita mo yung supplies na nagamit mo for the month. Tapos ano gagawin mo? I-credit mo yung supplies na 4,000 pesos. That is your way to record the supplies used for the year. Ano magiging computation yan? There is no computation necessary. Hindi na raw kailangan ng computation. Dahil yung 4,000 used during the year was already given in the problem. Dahil sinabi na diretsan, nag-minus lang tayo dun sa exercise, previous exercise, kasi hindi binigay kung magkano yung, ang sinabi lang niyan, yung natira, remaining lang na 2,000 balance, kaya minus pa natin. Pero in this case, sinabi na niya talaga yung amount, kaya hindi mo na siya kailangan hindi ka na kailangan mag-compute pa. I-journal mo na lang siya as such. So ano magiging computation? There is no computation because the 4,000 supplies used during the year was already given in the problem. Ano analysis? The asset account supplies showed a balance of 12,000 pesos at the beginning of the year. Supplies used during the year amounted to 4,000. This should be recorded as expense, debited supplies expense, and credited the asset account supplies to decrease its balance. So for example naman, unearned or deferred income is income already received but not yet earned. Ma'am, ano yun? Pag sinabi mong unearned, pag sinabi mong deferred income, ibig sabihin, natanggap mo na yung pera, pero hindi mo pa nagagawa yung serbisyo. Yun ang unearned or deferred income. So, ano sabi? Dalawa ang pwedeng gawin. Pwedeng i-charge natin as a liability method or pwede as an income method. O paano nagiging liability yun? Ayun yung sinasabi ko sa'yo, i-charge mo muna siya sa unearned revenue. Kaya ano nangyayari? Pag liability method, sinasabi mo dito, ang journal entry na nangyayari is, dinedebit yung cash, kine-credit yung unearned revenue. Sa adjusting journal entry at the end na accounting period, pag ganyan ang ginawa mo, i-charge mo siya sa unearned income, tapos i-credit mo na sa income yung halaga ng pinagserbisyo mo na. So hindi na siya magiging utang. Kita mo na siya kasi ginawa mo na, ginampanan mo na yung obligasyon mo doon sa kliyente ninyo. So ano sabi dyan? Note, the amount of the adjusting journal entry is the earned portion of the amount initially received. So let us take for example exercise 1. So example, exercise 1. On November 30, 2012, a company received 36,000 advance rental for 6 months. Give the adjusting journal entry on December 31, 2012. Yung journal entry niya upon receipt of cash on November 30 is dinebit niya yung cash ng 36,000, credit yung unearned income na 36,000 at sabi niya dyan because you receive 6 months rent in advance. But nung ano yan, dahil hindi, di ba, at the end of the accounting period, at the end of the month, kung nakapag-render ka na ng services, nagampanan mo na, ang gagawin mo, kailangan i-adjust mo yung libro para maalis na yung utang mo doon sa customer. Ano na gagawin mo? I-charge mo na siya na debit to unearned income, 6,000, at i-credit mo siya sa service income mo na 6,000 para i-record yung earnings mo for the year. To record your unearned, yung previous na services na unearned pa for the year. So ano magiging computation daw niyan? The 36,000 cash you receive represents 6 months rent. Divide 36 by 6 to get the monthly rent then multiply it by 1 month. Representing the rent for November 1 to December 31, 2012. So yung 36,000 divided by 12 times 1 is 6,000 pesos. 6,000 is therefore the rent amount, the rent income from November 30 to December 31 of 2012. Analysis. When you received 30,000 for the 6 months rent paid to you in advance on November 30, you debited cash and credited the liability account unearned rent income for 6 months rent. On December 31, which is the end of the accounting period, the 36,000 unearned rent income is not totally a liability anymore, since it now includes the 1 month earned rent. So anong gagawin ko? Kailangan mo ng adjusting entry. So adjusting entry is necessary to recognize the earned portion of the initially recorded unearned rent income by crediting the rent income and i-debiting mo yung unearned rent income to decrease the liability. So ano yung example sa number 2? Excuse me ha. Tignan natin kung matatapos natin to ha. Hanggang 6 pala to eh. Excuse ha. Sandali lang mga anak, parang bumibigay na yung lalamunan ko eh. Okay. So on November, so ganun ang gagawin. So sa exercise 1, sabi nga natin, i-divide mo sa 12 yung 36,000, tapos i-multiply mo sa 1 month para makuha mo lang kung magkano yung consume na from November 30 to December 31 ng 2012. So ano magiging analysis doon? When you receive 36,000, that is good for 6 months. Pero since 1 month lang, at for 12 months. So since 1 month lang ang na-consume, kaya kailangan i-divide mo siya by 12. At i-multiply mo sa 1 para makuha yung value lang for 1 month, which already passed by. So ano mangyayari? An adjusting entry is necessary to recognize the earned portion of the initial recorded unearned rent income by crediting the rent income and debiting the unearned rent income to decrease, para ma-decrease mo na yung liability account mo. So, puntahan naman natin yung example 2. On May 1, Dr. Young received 60,000 for medical fees to be rendered in the next 3 months. So, si Mr. Young, si Dr. Young, nakatanggap siya ng 60,000 pesos para sa 3 medical fees for 3 months. Di ba naalala nyo kung minsan meron ka mga nakukuhang pribilehyo na ibabawas, ano na kagad, example, merong customer, meron kang, anong tawag ba nito? Dermatology clinic. Tapos, sabing ganon ng customer, ano po yung problema ko sa balat ko? Halimbawa, ano kasi yan acne na yan, di lang yung pimples, acne na yan. 3 buwan yan bago gumaling. Ito na po bayad ko sa loob ng 3 buwan. Siguraduhin nyo lang na nagamot nyo ko. So, binibigay na niya kagad yung bayad. May mga ganong pangyayari. So, example dito, on May 1, Dr. Young received 60,000 for medical fees to be rendered in the next 3 months. Give the adjusting journal entry at the end of May. Journal entry upon receipt of cash on May 1 shows na dinebit yung cash na 60,000. Tapos credit yung unearned medical fees ng 60,000. At ano ang explanation? Because you receive cash for medical services to be rendered. Nakaraan na ang 1 buwan. So, dapat magkakaroon ka ng adjusting entries on May 1. On 31. Asa na? Dapat. 1 month. So, ito for 3 months. So, ano mangyayari? Kasi magkamali nga siya. So, nag-journal entry siya ng May 1. So, pagpalagay natin after 1 month, May 31, dapat unearned medical fees niya, tama, 20,000 lang muna. Tapos yung medical fees niya is 20,000 pesos para i-record yung medical fees na earn niya. So, tingnan natin dito. Ano magiging, tama yan tama si Carlo doon sa, napansin niya. At the end of May 31, dapat 20,000 pesos ang value nun. Kaya nga sabi dito, computation, the 60,000 cash received represents 3 months medical services to be rendered. Divide 60,000 by 3 to get the monthly medical fees. So, yung 60,000 divided by 3 magiging 20,000. So, 20,000 therefore is the medical fees earned from May 1 to May 31, 2012. Ano ang analysis? When the 60,000 was received on May 1, ayan yun. Yan yung written. Di ko na ulitin ha. Medyo masakit na yung lalamunan ko eh. Lipat tayo sa accrued expenses naman. Yung accrued expenses are expenses na incurred mo na, nagawa mo na, na-consume mo na, pero hindi mo pa nababayaran. So sabi nga dito, yung adjusting journal entry at the end of the accounting period should be debited to expense account ng pinagkagastusan mo. Tapos, credit. Ito yung katulad ng nangyari kanina doon sa sinagot ni Asis, yung sa Meralco. Expense payable ang kinikredit to record the unpaid expense. Example, unpaid salaries at the end of December 31, 2012 amounted to 20,000 pesos. Salaries expense 20,000, credit kahit hindi mo pa nabibigay sweldo ng empleyado, kaya magiging salaries payable 20,000 pesos. Magiging explanation mo is to record the unpaid salaries at the end of the year. So ano magiging analysis mo rito? This is a liability on the part of the company because the employees have already worked for this, but the company has not paid for his salary yet. So anong kailangan? Hence, a liability on part of the company should be recognized at the end of the accounting period. So example 2, the company received a telephone bill in the amount of 1,200 on December 29, 2012, which the company intends to pay on January 5, 2013. So ano yung magiging adjusting journal entry on December 31, 2012? Kailangan i-debit mo yung utilities expense na 1,200 at i-credit mo yung utilities payable na 1,200 para mag-reflect, para mabawasan yung mga accounts na naapektuhan, para ma-record yung unpaid utilities for the month. Ano nga analysis dyan? This is a liability on part of the company because the telephone bill is for the month of December, but the company has not paid for it. Hence, a liability on part of the company should be recognized at the end of the accounting period. Number 4, pagka naman yung accrued income hindi pa kinikita tapos naka-record pa rin doon, kailangan i-adjust din yan. So yung accrued income is income already earned but not yet received. Ma'am, ano yung accrued income nga? Ayan na yung nakapagtrabaho ka na pero hindi mo pa natatanggap ang kabayaran. So originally, naka-income receivable yan. Tapos naka-credit sa service income mo para i-record yung income na kinita mo. Example, yung a 1-year 10% note receivable in the amount of 100,000 was received on January 1, 2012. The interest and the principals are payable on maturity date. Give the adjusting journal entry on June 30, 2012. Adjusting journal entries on January 30, 2012 is interest receivable 5,000, interest income is 5,000. Ang explanation mo dyan para i-record yung interest income na in-earn mo. Paano bang kinukompute yan? Di ba naalala mo, to get your interest, you have to multiply your principal amount by the rate by the time. So kung 100,000 ang utang mo, i-multiply mo yan sa rate, which is 10%. Ma'am, saan mo nakita yung 10% na yan? No, nasa problem. A 1-year 10% note receivable in the amount of 100,000 pesos. So 100,000 times 10% a year times 1/2 year is equivalent to 100,000 times 0.1 times 1/2. Kaya ano ang lalabas? 5,000. So ano mangyari? Yung interest para sa loob ng 6 months katumbas ng 5,000 pesos. Ano nga ang computation niyan? Ano analysis? The note receivable bearer interest at 10% per annum, the interest will receive after 1 year on January 1, 2013. However, the note has already earned half-year interest on June 30, 2012 in the amount of 5,000. Although this interest has not been received. So, kailangan daw na ano, hence, an adjusting journal entry is necessary to recognize the interest earned on the notes received for 6 months. That is from January 1 to June 30, 2012. Ano mangyayari? Ano pa isa? Yung pag may bad debts. Ma'am, ano naman yung mga bad debts? Pagka may mga uncollectible accounts ka. So, yung mga bad debts, doubtful accounts, are losses due to uncollectible accounts. So, ano gagawin? Kailangan mo mag-adjust din para dyan sa mga accounts, mga pautang mo na hindi mo na makolekta. Sabi nga dito, kailangan mo ng adjusting entries. And adjusting journal entry at the end of the accounting period should be, i-debit mo dapat yung bad debts expense, tapos i-charge mo yung i-credit mo siya sa allowance for bad debts to record the estimated uncollectible accounts. Example 1. Halimbawa, may accounts receivable ka which shows a balance of 50,000 pesos. It is estimated that 10% of this is uncollectible. Give the adjusting journal entry on December 31, 2012 for the provision of the estimated uncollectible account. So ano gagawin? Kailangan mo ng adjusting entries. At ang adjusting entries mo should be debit to bad debts expense 5,000, credit to allowance for bad debts na 5,000. Magiging explanation mo to record the estimated uncollectible accounts. Ma'am, paano mo naman nakuha yung 5,000 na yan? Yung principal amount na 50,000 pesos, i-multiply mo doon sa estimated na uncollectible na 10%. Kaya yun ang makukuha mong halaga. Ma'am, saan mo naman nakuha yung 10% na yan? Nilalagay yan sa problem, anak. Okay, mag-alala. Nakalagay yan sa problem. Okay, example number 2, exercise 2. Yung accounts receivable shows a balance of 50,000 pesos. It is estimated that 10% of this is uncollectible. Allowance for bad debts per general ledger has a balance of 3,000. Give the adjusting journal entry on December 31, 2012 for the provision of the estimated uncollectible account. So debit bad debts expense 2,000, credit allowance for bad debts 2,000. Ang explanation is to record the estimated uncollectible accounts. Take note, the required allowance for bad debts accounts is 5,000. Pero, ito kasi katulad nito, sinasabing, paano daw kung halimbawa meron ng yung kanina, di ba, walang naka-provision. Kaya kinumpute mo lang. Paano kung meron nakalagay doon? Na yung ledger, meron na siyang balance na, meron ka ng, may budget na yung company para sa mga bad debts, sa mga hindi na makukolekta. Ano gagawin? Ito ang pwede mo raw gawin. Pag meron ng allocation para sa, kumbaga may account ka na may naka-charge sa talaga kagad para sa bad debts, i-debit mo raw yung bad debts, pero ipapakita mo na lang yung halaga ng kakulangan doon sa naka-allocate na. So, i-debit mo lang, kukunin mo lang to, kaya nakalagay 2,000 pesos. Saan? Bakit 2,000 pesos? Kasi tingnan mo dito. Sabi sa problem, accounts receivable shows a balance of 50,000. In-estimate na 10% niyan is uncollectible. So, pag kinuha mo ang 10% nun, di ba, lalabas yung 5,000 pesos. Pero, sabi nga dito, allowance for bad debts per general ledger has a balance of 3,000. So, since may 3,000 na budget balance, kailangan, huwag mo nang gawing 5,000 kasi ma-overstated yung iyong records. Kailangan, iawas mo lang yung kakulangan para makumpleto yung 5,000 pesos na, na cost ng unpaid ng uncollected receivables o bad debts. So ano magiging explanation mo dyan? To record the estimated uncollectible accounts. Sabi nga dito sa notation, the required allowance for doubtful accounts is 5,000. However, per general ledger, the allowance for doubtful accounts already shows a balance of 3,000. So an adjusting entry to bring the balance of the allowance for doubtful accounts to the required balance of 5,000 is necessary. And since meron ng balance na 3,000, kaya kailangan mo na lang dagdagan, kailangan mo na lang i-adjust by charging 2,000 para makuha mo yung kapunuan ng 5,000 pesos. Ayan, katulad niyan na nasa inyong harapan. Sa fourth example naman, yung depreciation expense. Ma'am, ano naman yung depreciation expense? Ito naman yung pagkakaluma ng mga fixed assets sa kada gamit niya. So, ano ang sabi nga dito? Depreciation expense is the allocation of plant assets cost over its estimated useful life. This is the expense allocated for the wear and tear of the property, plant, and equipment due to passage of time. The three factors considered in computing the depreciation expense are the cost. Pag pinag-usapan naman yung cost, yan yung purchase price nung nadi-depreciate na asset. Yung salvage value, yan yung estimated value ng assets pagkatapos ng kanyang useful life. So pagpalagay natin, bumili tayo ng kotse. Sabi, ano yan? Yung nagamit na ng 3 taon. So yung halaga na lang niya ngayon, dahil sa kanyang pagkakagamit na, kung binili mo yan ng 1 milyon, nagamit na ng 3 taon, so hindi na 1 milyon ang halaga niyan. So yung maibabawas mo doon at magiging halaga na lang yan pag binenta mo after 1 year, yan ang salvage value. Pagka naman yung estimated useful life, as the name connotes, it is not an exact measurement but merely an estimation of the number of years an asset can be useful to the entity. The formula for computing annual depreciation is as follows. Mula sa cost, ibabawas mo yung salvage value kung magkano na yung magiging halaga niya pagkatapos. Yung lalabas doon yung depreciable cost. Yan na lang yung halaga ng pagkakaluma niya. I-divide mo yan sa estimated useful life, kaya makukuha mo yung annual depreciation. Ito, kung sakalit, hindi given pero pag sinabi na sa'yo na marami kasing method na meron tayo tinatawag na straight line. Maraming method sa depreciation. Kaya depende na lang kung ano nakasulat sa problem. So the process of recording depreciation does not directly change depreciation to the asset account. The charge is recorded to a contra asset account called the accumulated depreciation. The use of this account allows the original cost of the assets and the related accumulated depreciation assets to be shown in the balance sheet. The balance of the accumulated depreciation is deducted from the cost of the asset to get the carrying value of the asset. So, ang sinasabi rito, yun daw asset, yun daw equipment, pagka ginagamit yearly, charge yung pagkakagamit niya sa isang contra asset account na tinatawag na accumulated depreciation. Para makuha mo kung magkano na, ibinabawas yun yearly. Para makuha mo na lang at after that year, kung magkano na lang ang carrying value niya, magkano na lang ang value ng asset na yon after the 1 year use. So, yun ang sinasabi sa explanation. So, example daw, a building with an estimated useful life of 20 years, finished constructed on April 1, 2012. The cost of the building is 2.6 million with an estimated salvage value of 200,000. Give the adjusting journal entry on December 31, 2012 to record the depreciation for the building. So yung adjusting journal entry on December 31, 2012 will be depreciation expense 90,000, credit accumulated depreciation 90,000. Explanation is to record the depreciation expense for the building. So etong adjusting entries na to, ma'am, paano mo nakuha yan? Ayan, nasa problem na yan. Oh. Nasa problem na yan. So, paano magiging computation yan? Yung cost na 2,600,000, ile-less mo yung salvage value na 200,000, makukuha mo yung 2,400,000 na depreciable cost, tapos i-divide mo sa estimated useful life niya na 20 years, kaya makukuha mo yung annual depreciation na 120,000. Ba't 90,000 lang yan? Kasi nung April lang kinonstruct. So per year to annual depreciation. Pero dahil April lang kinonstruct at nito ay December na, kaya ano gagawin mo? I-divide mo to sa 12, i-multiply mo sa May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December, which is how many months? Oo, pero dahil kinonstruct ng April 1, kaya that whole month
9 months.
counted. O kaya naging 9 months na. Kaya naman nangyari, naging 90,000 pesos na. Ano yung alternative method daw for recording prepayments and deferrals? Sa prepayments naman, pwede namang prepayments, an alternative method in recording prepayments is to initially record them to an expense instead of an asset account. Remember kanina yung pinag-uusapan natin sa mga prepayments? Pwede naman daw, charge mo sa expense account. At pag sa expense account mo to charge, ang original journal entry nito ay nakadebit sa expense account ng prepayments na nangyari. Example, prepaid insurance siya, nakalagay yan sa prepaid, sa insurance expense, tapos credit cash, pero chinarge yun as the payment for the insurance. Ano naman siya, prepayment siya, kailangan i-adjust mo siya by debiting it to the prepaid expense account. Halimbawa, prepaid insurance, i-credit mo sa insurance expense para ma-transfer yung portion na hindi pa gamit. Para to record the unexpired expense. Note, the amount of the adjusting journal entry represents the unexpired or unused portion of the prepayments. Example niyan, October 1, 2012, X company paid the 1-year advance rent for 24,000. Give the adjusting journal entry on December 31, 2012. So yung journal entry niya upon payment is debit rent expense 24,000, credit cash 24,000. Ang explanation dyan is yung paid rent for 1 year. Ano ang kailangan na adjusting entries niya para ma-update yung records? Ang adjusting journal entry niyan at the end of the accounting period should be debit to prepaid rent na 18,000 pesos. Tapos i-credit mo yung rent expense na 18,000 pesos para maibaba yung halaga niya sa talagang tunay na halaga na lang niya at as of this date. Para ma-record, to record the unexpired insurance. Ano magiging computation? Yung 24,000 rent represents 1 year or 12 months rent. Divide mo siya by 12 to get the monthly rent. Then multiply by the 9 months representing the unexpired or unused rent for January 1 to September 30, 2013 para sa susunod na taon. Kaya ano nang mangyayari? 24,000 divided by 12 times 9 is 18,000 pesos. 18,000 pesos now is therefore the prepaid rent from January 1 to September 30, 2013. So ano analysis niyan? Yung analysis when you pay 24,000 for 1 year rent in advance on October 1, you debited the expense account rent expense representing 12 months rent. On December 31, the end of the accounting period, the 24,000 rent expense is not really your rent expense for the year. It includes the 9 months unexpired or unused portion. Hence, an adjusting entry is necessary to recognize the asset portion by debiting prepaid rent and decreasing the balances of rent expense by crediting it. Summary for prepayments. Yung asset methods upon payment, so dalawang nangyayari ha. Pag ginamit natin yung di ba sabi natin dalawang pwedeng gamitin nating proseso o paraan pag nagre-record tayo ng prepayments. Pwedeng i-charge natin sa asset method, pwede nating i-charge sa expense method. So ito itsura ng pagkakaiba nila. Pagka ginamit mo yung asset method, upon payment ng October 1, 2012, i-debit mo yung prepaid rent ng 24,000. Ike-credit mo sa cash na 24,000. Pero kung chinarge mo siya sa expense method, hindi mo siya i-charge sa prepaid rent kasi prepaid rent is an asset. I-charge mo na siya kagad sa expense account na rent expense, 24,000. Tapos i-credit mo na siya sa cash na 24,000. Ma'am, so, kailan ko malalaman kung kailan ko siya, kung anin dyan sa dalawang yan ang gagamitin ko? Kung hindi mo alam, kung walang accountant, kung walang CPA na nag-guide sa isang bookkeeper, either of the two will do. Pero kung minsan, nakalagay yan sa guidelines nila sa accounting, kung alin dyan, kung asset method ba ang gagamitin sa prepayments or expense method ang gagamitin. Kung may accounting may accountant, kung may license, accountant sa kumpanya na gagawan mo ng program. Pero either of the two will do. So sa halimbawa naman, nag-paid 1 year rent in advance, okay. So ano kailangan adjusting entries, journal entries? Diyan, pareho yan, nag-pay ng 1 year rent in advance. So ang adjustment period pagka asset method, dinedebit sa rent expense 6,000 pesos, kine-credit sa prepaid rent 6,000 pesos para mabawas yung expired rent para sa year. Pero pagka expense method ang ginamit nila, i-debit mo yung prepaid rent na 18,000, yung balance. Huwag mo i-charge yung na-consume na, yung remaining balance ang i-charge mo. Ililipat mo siya sa prepaid rent. Tapos, i-credit mo siya sa rent expense para mawala siya sa gastos ng bayad sa upa. Para ma-record yung unused rent. Dito naman sa asset method, para ma-record mo yung expired o yung gamit na, yung na-consume na upa nung tenant. So sabi dito, the effect of the adjusting entry on the ledger after posting is the same regardless of the two methods. So sa asset methods, tingnan mo to, yung prepaid rent, meron siyang 24,000 pesos. Kung credit mo yung 6,000 pesos, ang balance pa rin niya 18,000 pesos. Kung dito mo naman titingnan sa prepaid rent, dahil dinebit mo yung prepaid expense, meron kang 18,000 pesos. Kaya may balance ka pa rin ng 18,000 pesos. So, dito, dito rent expense naman yung isa nito. Yung isa rent expense, 6,000 pesos debit, kaya may balance sa 6,000 pesos. Dito naman rent expense din to, nasa lower portion. So, kung dinebit mo, kung ang original balance is 24,000, less 18,000, 6,000. Di ba pareho rin ang effect? So, pag-aralan natin ang deferrals. Sa deferrals naman, an alternative method is recording deferrals to initial. Sabi niya, an alternative method in recording deferrals is to initially record them as an income instead ng liability account. Pag income method naman ang ginamit mo, yung journal entry upon the receipt of cash, dinedebit mo yung cash and state the amount. I-credit mo yung income at ilalagay mo pa rin yung corresponding amount. Ano magiging description mo? To receive cash, to record the received cash for services to be rendered. Pero paano mo ngayon siyang i-adjust? Ang adjusting journal entry niyan at the end of the accounting period will be a debit to income and a credit to unearned income of the same value para ma-record mo yung income not yet earned at the end of the year. Not yet earned for the year. So the amount of the adjusting journal entry is the unearned portion ng amount initially received. Example, on November 30, 2012, A received 36,000 advance rental for 6 months. Give the adjusting journal entry on December 31, 2012. So, ang journal entry niya, nag-debit sa cash ng 36,000. Nag-credit ng rent income 36,000. So that is because you received 6 months rent in advance. Ngayon, i-adjust mo siya. I-charge mo na siya sa rent income na 30,000 para mabawasan yung original value niya na 36,000 kasi yung 36,000 is good for 6 months. So, ano mangyayari? Rent income 30,000 tapos credit unearned rent income 30,000 to record the income not yet earned. So, yun yung portion na hindi pa na-earn. Ano mangyayari? Paano yung magiging computation mo? The 36,000 cash received represents 6 months rent. Divide the 36,000 by 6 to get the monthly rent. Then, ano gagawin ko? Multiply it by 5 months representing the unearned rent from January 1 to May 31 of 2013. Kaya ano mangyayari? Magiging 30,000 pesos. 30,000 is there for the unexpired. Yung pa yung unexpired, di pa nagagamit. From January 1 to May 31, 2013. Analysis, when you receive the 36,000 for the 6 months rent paid to you in advance on November 30, you debited the cash and credited the revenue account rent income representing the 6 months rent income. On December 31, the end of the accounting period, the 36,000 becomes hindi fully hindi pa nako-consume lahat. May portion pa niya na consume na, may portion niya na hindi pa consume. Kaya gagawin mo? An adjusting entry is necessary to recognize the unearned portion of the initially recorded rent income by crediting the unearned rent, debiting the rent income to decrease the revenue. So, pakikita ko sa inyo yung effect pwedeng dalawang method. Ito ay tsura ng dalawang method. Yung liability method tsaka yung income method sa right side ng ating screen. So, upon the payment on this November 1, 2012, yung cash mo na dinebit na 36,000 kasi yun yung na-receive mo na rent for the whole year, chinarge mo yon sa unearned rent na 36,000. Kung income method ang ginamit mo, dinebit mo yun sa cash at credit mo yon sa rent income. Same value, walang pagkakaiba dahil na-receive mo yung income. Now, ano ang ginawa? Pero at the end of the period, kung meron mang portion na consume na at may portion na hindi pa consume, kailangan kang gumawa ng adjusting entry. At doon nagkakaiba ang adjusting entry ng bawat isang method. Kung kung liability method ang ginamit mo, kailangan i-debit mo ang unearned rent na 6,000 pesos. Yung rent income ang i-credit mo ng 6,000 pesos. Kung naman, para ma-record mo, yung kinita mo na income. Kung namang revenue or income method ang ginamit mo, dapat i-charge mo yung debit sa rent income tapos i-credit mo sa unearned rent. Ang ilalagay mo dyan, yung remaining, yung consumed na portion. Or rather, yung hindi pa consumed na portion. So, sabi nga dito, i-charge mo sa rent income, 30,000, tapos i-credit mo sa unearned rent. Sabihin, hindi mo pa kinikita yung rent na yan. To record the rent not yet earned. So, ano magiging effect niya sa ledger? Ang magiging effect niya sa ledger, adjusting entry on the ledger accounts after posting is the same regardless of the method used. Unearned liability method, tignan mo, di ba, dinedebit yung, sa liability method, dinedebit yung unearned rent, kinekredit yung rent income. Sorry, nagkamali, typographical error again. Dito naman sa income method, dinedebit ang rent income, kine-credit ang unearned rent. So, ano nangyayari? Unearned rent, una naka-debit ng, naka-credit ng 36,000. Unearned rent din dito, naka-debit ng 30,000. Diba? Pag liability method, dinedebit ang unearned rent, kine-credit ang rent income. Saan ang mangyayari? Ide-debit mo yung dinebit yung 36,000, tapos nag-adjusting entries ng debit 6,000 pesos, credit prepaid rent ng 6,000 pesos. Kaya ano mangyayari? Ngayon, may lumalabas na balance ng prepaid rent na 6,000 pesos. Hindi pala siya typographical error. Tama nga pala yun. Dahil sa adjusting method na to. Ito naman sa income method, yung record niya kanina na 30,000 pesos, di may balance ng 30,000 pesos sa unearned rent. Tapos, merong prepaid rent, originally cost na 36,000. Pero, dahil nagawa ka ng adjusting entry, kaya nabawasan, ito may typographical error, nabawasan na yung 36,000 na unearned rent, na rent income, at napalitan na ng through your adjusting entry, kaya ang balance na lang niya ngayon sa rent income 6,000 pesos. Nakukuha ba? Merong mga problems dito katulad ng nakaraan. Pakisagutan, binigay ko na sa inyo yan, and we will proceed with lesson 6 for next meeting. Is everything clear? Clear ba? Is everything?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, very
Ma'am.
good.
Yes.
Ano? Next. Ano?
Yes po, ma'am.
Done. Okay, sorry, bingi si ma'am. Okay, so that's it. That's the end of our meeting for the day. Please open your camera for our attendance picture. Carlo, kumukuha ka ng attendance nito, di ba? Oh, good. Okay, thank you. Hindi ko maintindihan, na-stress ako dito sa aking computer. Hindi ko maintindihan kung ano napindot ko. Mga anak, open cam na raw, sabi ni Press. Meron akong bibigay sa inyo na practice setup, pero kasama nyo ako all throughout ng pagbuo nun. Bibigay ko sa inyo yun. Siguro pag natapos na natin yung handouts para ma-practice nyo, ha? Okay, so that's it. Good day. Bye-bye. See you next. Bye-bye.
Bye po, ma'am. Thank you po.